In this video, I'm going to show you how to send a document for electronic signing, assuming that you already have the document ready and you're sending it to one person. To upload a document, you can use this button here, which allows you to upload a document from your computer. You could also do that by clicking on the new button. You could just upload a document or upload and trigger the electronic signature transaction, or you could import your data from Dropbox if you have linked your Dropbox account with your MyDocSafe account. Alternatively, you can simply drag and drop a document onto the main dashboard. Let's assume that the document you would like to send is this non-disclosure agreement. Next thing you need to do is to right-click and then press Send for signing. On this screen, you need to input the email address of the signee, and you can set up an optional message. Those additional options, let me cover them briefly. The first one allows you to grant the signee the right to forward the electronic signature request to another person. This is relevant if you're negotiating a deal with somebody who's actually not signing documents on behalf of the company, but knows who does. And this option allows us to send a single-use code to the mobile phone of the signatory for additional security. Let me leave those options unticked for the moment. Let's add the signee, and then the next step is to either click continue or to go to advanced options. I will cover advanced options later on, so let's carry on with the continue button. What you see now is the document viewer. The document opens up. You can scroll down and go to the signature page, and on the right hand side you see the signatory. There's only one person, so the final thing you need to do is to drag and drop signature fields onto the document. You can also resize them, and let's say that's what we want to do, and let's say we would like to put the date here and maybe the name. Once we're happy with that configuration, we can press the Send Document button and go back to our work. You will notice that if you refresh the screen and scroll down to the document, you will notice that there is an icon here that is actually tracking the progress of this transaction. If you click on it, you will notice that, okay, this document has been sent out, and that it has been sent out to this person who has this email address. You can, from this panel, you can trigger a manual reminder, or you can even cancel the entire process. So let's go to the inbox of the person who is supposed to be signing this document and see what they have received. Well, indeed, they have received an email that with your message and the link to the document and the branding. You could actually adjust the look and feel of this email in settings, and I will cover that later. Let's carry on with the process. The person clicks on the link and sees the document. They can read it. They can reject the transaction if they don't want to sign the document. They can leave you a message. They can compare this document with another one. If, for example, you've negotiated a document earlier and which has been approved by both parties, and the other party wants to make sure that they're signing exactly the right copy, the right version of the document. So let the person complete the transaction. They can either just type their name or draw the signature. They can enter the date and then place their name. And finally, they need to click submit. This completes the transaction because there was only one signatory, so the message that will show up here will say that the transaction has completed, and the document has been signed by all parties. And then what we're doing is housekeeping. We are attaching a signature certificate. We're first converting the document into a PDF, attaching a signature certificate, and distributing copies to all signatories. Inside our account, we will notice that we have just received a signed copy of the document, which looks like this. It's a PDF with the signature placed on the document, and then there's a technical page following it that tracks the IP address, the timestamps, time zones, and the email addresses of all signatories, together with fingerprints of the documents and the transaction itself. We also scan the first page of the document and provide a QR code, which allows you to easily verify the authenticity of this transaction later on. What does the signatory get? The signatory that you sent the document to receives an email saying that that they have signed the document, and since it's their first contact with MyDocSafe, they are also told that they can create an account where the document, where a signed copy of the document is held for them. Alternatively, they can simply follow this link and download a document straight away. This link expires in 24 hours, however, so that if the person doesn't download the document on time, they can always go back and claim their account where we store a signed copy of the document. And this completes the transaction, this simple transaction. Now let me show you what happens if you would like to send the document for signing to more than one person. You do the same thing. Let's say we would like to send the same document as before, but this time to more than one person. Let's say that this is the first person. We leave the message empty. We can add another signee here, and let's say that's me. If it's me, I can actually add myself really quickly. The next thing you need to do is to again press continue, and this time around what you see on the right hand side is are both signatories. You can use this arrow to reorder the way in which the signatures will be placed. The person who's on top of the list will receive the request first. So let's say that I would like to sign the document first, which means that I need to be on the top. I can then drag and drop the signature field and do the same thing for the second person. Once I'm happy with it, I can proceed and send the document, and then go back to my work. Now, since I'm the first person who is signing the document, I actually don't need to go to my email. I have received an email now to sign the document, but I can go straight. I can remain in my account and click on this status icon on top, which lists all the documents that have been sent out for signing before. And see on the top, I can see the document that requires my attention. I can simply sign it straight there and then. Jump to the first field, write my name, and then submit the document. Since there are more signatories, the document is still awaiting further signatures, so the transaction did not complete. Let's look at what happens in the inbox of the other signatory. That other person received an email with a link, and the link leads to the document, which now shows the status of the transaction. You can see that the first signature has already been placed, and I'm next in line. I can jump to the field, and I can see the signature of the counterparty. I can do my squiggle, add the signature, and then submit the document. Now we're doing the same housekeeping as before, and let me show you what the document looks like this time around. I go back to the documents, and let's wait for another second. Okay, the document has now completed. If you double click on it, you will notice that there are two signatures placed on the document, and the event log is now longer because there were two people signing it, and the same cryptographic data is attached. Now let me repeat this transaction But let's this time assume that you would like to send this document to a number of people, but you would like each person to sign a separate copy of the document. This is particularly important if you're sending new terms and conditions or new terms of business, and you would like a large group of people to acknowledge receipt and to sign off on a document. And you would like to broadcast that document to everyone, but you don't want everyone to know who else is on the list. The way this is done is you start in the same way. You specify email addresses of the signatories. You can also add yourself as well the same way. Now there's an interesting feature. You could actually define a group of users in contacts and add an entire group here in one go, and we would import all members of the group in one go, which saves you a little bit more time, but I'll cover that a bit later. The next thing to do is actually to go to advanced options, and here we have this option called send document in bulk to all members. And what this means is that we are not treating this contract as a round-robin transaction where everyone signs in a specific order, but we're simply broadcasting the document and everyone signs a separate copy. So what happens if we continue? What you see on the right is actually only, you see signature fields that appear only once. They appear once for every single person concerned. So what happens if you drag and drop signature fields this time around? If you send this document out, we're actually triggering two separate transactions, not just one. And you can see that if you go to the status icon here, you can see that this document appears on the bottom. You can view the status, and you can see that the document has been sent out to this person. You can see that there is another instance of this transaction just below it, and this time around the document has been sent out to another person. So what happened when we clicked on that option to send the document in bulk? We're actually triggering a number of parallel transactions. We're sending the same document to a number of people in separate envelopes, and they are signed independently of each other. You can track the progress of each of those separate transactions independently. The rest of the process is exactly the same as shown before, so I'm not going to do this now. The next type of transaction I would like to show you in this video is what happens if you'd like to send more than one document at once. The way to do it is simply to multi-select the documents you would like to send, and then click this icon, Send for Signing. You specify the group of people you would like to receive the documents. Let's say I'm another one, it's me, and let's say I'll add a third person. So we have 3 people and 2 documents. So now what happens next? If we open the first document, first of all, they will open up, all documents will open up in order. You can see the first of the 2 documents is visible here in the viewer. And you can now, as before, drag and drop signature fields of the signatories onto the document. So let's say the first person should sign here, the first person should sign here, and let's say that the third person doesn't need to sign because they should be signing the second document, so you can simply skip them. And that's it. You click send, then this transaction is triggered, and immediately the second document opens up. And you can do the same thing here by dragging the signature field for the first person. You could, let's say, skip the second one and then add fields for the third person, and off you go. So you can, in this way, you can trigger complex transactions of many documents going to many people in a number of configurations, and you can trigger those transactions really, really quickly. And the rest is exactly the same as in the simplest case. Every signatory receives an email with a link. If they were asked to provide a code, they will receive it on their mobile phone, which they will have to enter. And after they place the document, that we will carry on the transaction until it completes. And at the end, we will attach the certificate, place a signed version of the document in your account and in the account of every signatory. And again, if anyone on your list did not transact with us before, we will invite them to sign up and claim a free account where their document is stored. I think the last thing I would like to talk about in this video are advanced options. Let's go back to this non-disclosure agreement. Let's pretend we would like to send it for signing and that I'm the only signatory, and let's go to advanced options. You can set automatic reminders to prod signatories if they are slow to respond. You can send the frequency as well as the duration of those reminders. And you can also cancel them out later on from the status screen. You can delete the original document after everyone signs if you would like to save some space. And finally, you can place signed documents in each contact folder rather than the same area as the document. What does this mean? Let's say you're sending a document to a large number of people in bulk, and you don't want to receive signed versions of the documents. You don't want to file them in the same folder as the original document, this non-disclosure agreement. Because let's say if you're sending this document to 100 people, you will have 100 signed versions of the document in that same folder, which may not be particularly useful. However, if you create, if you import your contacts into MyDocSafe, and then you can automatically create folders that are associated with those contacts that you can then use for automated filing. What this means is that if you click this option and then trigger the transaction, and then all those documents are signed and then sent back to you, we will automatically file them in associated folders for each contact. I will show you how to create those folders in another video. And finally, you can also set a signing template. The reason why this is useful is if you are, for example, sending a non-disclosure agreement or terms of business agreement for signature by one person quite frequently, and you do not want to go through the hassle of defining signature fields every time. This way, you can simply set some default options about reminders, and when you go to the viewer, you actually don't see the name of the person this time around. You only see a sort of hypothetical member, because you're creating a template. You're dragging and dropping signature fields for one person. You're creating the template, and from now on you can use this template for fast transactions. This is how it will work. You send the document for signing, you add a person, and then you suddenly see this new option, use previously saved settings and continue. And if you click that, the document is sent for signing straight away. You don't need to bother with the entire process. So this saves you a little bit of time. I think this is all for that I wanted to cover in terms of sending documents for signing if they already exist. And in another video, I'll show you how you actually create a document in MyDocSafe, save it as a template, and send it for signing. So stay tuned. Thank you very much.